Hi everyone. So today yesterday we learned about the XPath, that was day 3 session, and welcome back to day 4 session. Today we will continue discussing on XPath, CSS selector, and some topics that we discussed yesterday. So let's get started. Let's take any example. So what we learned so far? We learned XPath. So guys, answer my questions. I will post these questions on Skype. What this is going to select? Okay. What is the meaning of this XPath? Okay. What does this mean? That this means div @ class equal to mean. Now, okay. Or in fact, I can write actually star. Then few more examples. Contains. Let's write some attribute name. Okay. Contains or starts with okay. Let's answer the first locator. I will post this on Skype. So the first locator is, as Prashant said, all p tags from the web page. Very good, which is right. The second locator will select username. This is wrong. It is going to select that element which is having ID equal to username. That element might be input tag, it might be div tag, it might be heading tag, or anything. It doesn't matter. It will select any tag which is having ID as username. Third is from div tag immediate all tags. Okay, just give me a second, guys. Sorry, let's continue. So I was saying that Third element, let's see answer, from div tags which has the class name, from div tag which has the class name main nav immediate all a tag. So yeah, it is right. So what it is going to do, that third, this XPath, what it will do is it will select all the hyperlinks which are immediate child of div tag, and which div tags those are having class is equal to main nav. The third is it will select all the tags whose text is matching with welcome home. So let me see if somebody answered that. We'll select all the tags having text equal to welcome home. Very good. Good, Prashant. Yes, Ashish, it is right. Then next is any tag. Okay, doesn't matter what is the tag name, which is containing yahoo.com in its href attribute. So whatever you see at the rate in a XPath, that means it's attribute. So href attribute is mostly for the a tag, right? So it's going to select all um, anchor links which are having yahoo.com in its href attribute. And next is, let's say if you want to find all the hyperlinks which are pointing to https website, then you can write an XPath something like this. So starts with, this is another XPath access where you have to specify what you also have one more option. This would okay, welcome home and okay, immediate child of the first. Okay, Akhilesh is having one question. Inside div, where class name is main nav first h. No. This is, you got it wrong, buddy. So see, the meaning of this is let's say you have HTML like this, let's say div. There are many divs, div, div. Every div is having opening, closing. Okay, so let's add that. Okay, and inside this div, let's say if there is a tag, something is there. Okay, this is another div which is also having a tag. Let's say there are many a tags. This is another div which is having a div nested, and again there is a tag inside that div. Let's close that, e slash div. All right, and there is another e tag here. Okay, so any one of the div is having class name, class is equal to main nav. So if I write a locator something like this, so first it will select a div which is having a class name as a main nav. So in my case there are multiple divs but only one class name is having main nav. And when I say single slash, that means immediate child. So inside that div, immediate child, which child I want? I want a tag, and that has to be an immediate child. Let's say you have the same here, then it will select two elements. This is first and this is going to be second element. Okay, so these two elements will be selected. This is first and this is second because both are immediate child of main nav div which is having class as a main nav. It won't be selecting this a tag because this a tag is a descendant. It is not the immediate child of main nav. That is the reason this will not be selected. All right, I hope this is clear now. Okay, let me check few questions. May you please tell second XPath will select what? Second XPath means which exactly? Which method we have to call there? Find element or find elements? Okay, that is a good question. So guys, it doesn't matter which method you are calling, we are talking about a locator, locating an element. It might be a find element. If I say find element and if I write by dot XPath, and you can give any XPath from the above. Let's say if I'm saying this, Okay, and if you are interested into getting all the hyperlinks which are starting with HTTPS, then you will write something like this. You will get list of, I think we discussed in this list of web element. So all HTTPS links element equal to, this is what I will write. So we already discussed in day 2 session what find elements does. Sorry, my bad. It is find elements. So, okay, can you please take one example of slash slash? I didn't get your point. What exactly you are expecting? Slash slash means the descendant. Okay, sure. So yeah, so take example. If I write this element, how many elements it is going to select for the below HTML? It will select 2 elements, right? This XPath is going to select 2 elements. This is first one because this is immediate child of main nav. This is also get selected because this is also child of main nav, immediate child. But if I want descendants also, all childs, I want all the childs. So what I will say, I will say div slash slash a. So this is going to select all a tags, all a child tags under div. So the total count, see, this is also inside a div, this is also inside a div, this is also inside a div, doesn't matter which div is. Yeah, it might be this div or this div, but yes, anchor tag is present inside a div, so this will also get selected, this will also get selected. So this is going to select all 4 tags, 4a tags. Let's say I want to have some specific filter, I will just copy paste this thing, slash slash, and if I say a, that means select all the a tags which are inside main nav. Doesn't matter is it immediate child or not. Okay, so this XPath is going to select, this is first one, and this is second, and this is third. So it will select 3 elements, this 2 and this 2, this 1, 2 and 3. So this XPath is going to select actually 3 elements because it will count immediate child, else and descendants, or any level of child, that way. Okay, Ashish, you said we select all element, but if we else find element, but it returns only one will select, we get please correct it. Ashish, you are right. Let's say if I am using the same kind of a XPath or locator, okay, with find element only, I am just removing that as, it will return me single web element, single web element equal to driver.find element. This is going to return single element, though it is going to match with multiple elements. But let's say this XPath, it is going to return you all the hyperlinks which are starting with HTTPS. Assume the count is 50, 50. And if you write this code, find element, not elements, it will, and this locator is still matching 50 elements, but still it is going to return the first matching element. Okay, it can, because find element can only return one element, it cannot return list of elements, whereas find elements, it will return all the matching elements. Okay, I think we already discussed on day 2, day 3 I guess, maybe. Okay, all right, I think, okay, let's continue with CSS selector, guys. See guys, you can have this nesting kind of thing. We almost covered, like, almost everything from the CSS XPath selector. Now let's talk about CSS selectors. CSS stands for Cascade Style Sheet Selector. Okay, I will tell you first syntax. Like XPath has a syntax, right? Syntax is something like this. See guys, I always recommend relative XPath slash slash, right? So slash slash tag name square bracket at the rate any attribute name equal to, in single quote I'm writing value. Guys, you can also write double quote instead of single quote, that is also valid. Okay, but in Java, if you are having a double quote inside a string, you need to write backward slash before double quote. So this is my syntax. I also told you if you can have a star instead of a tag name and at the rate, this is also valid. Okay, another variation is this xpath access. You can use access function, like text equal to something. This is also valid. Okay, optionally you can use or condition. Let's say I wanted to say that one element having class is this and id is equal to this, that you can do using / star at the rate id is equal to, let's say id of the element and at the rate class equal to the abc. Okay, this is and condition. Like the same way you can have or, so just write or. Okay, so these are different variations you can do. There is preceding, following, sibling is also there, but I may not be covering within this same session. If required, we can use it runtime while coding, but right now I don't want to tell you that preceding and following sibling. All right, let's go with CSS selector. Let's talk about syntax. Okay, the syntax for CSS selector is also kind of similar to XPath, but it doesn't start with //. It directly starts with tag name. Okay, or you can also write tag name and square bracket attribute name. We do not write at the rate in CSS. You need to remember this. So attribute, this means any tag name which is having this attribute, doesn't matter what is the value of that attribute. Okay, now for example, this is a div, it is having class main nav. This is another div, it is having class something. I wanted to select all the div tags which are having some class, doesn't matter what is the value of that class. I just wanted to select all div tags which are having some class. So I will just write div class. So this will return me list of all divs which are having class in it. All right, so okay, I will just write example. Let's say E. This will give you all links. Okay, similar to //a XPath. So this is pretty much same like //a. In XPath we write //a. In CSS we only write a. So because we don't have a slashes here. Okay, this is a tag name and then attribute. It means select any tag which is having this attribute, doesn't matter what is the value of that attribute. So let's say tag name attribute is equal to value. It means select a tag, for example div, let's say some attribute maybe for, or I will write something else for, let's give something, let's say maybe login. Okay, so I'm just writing div for equal to login. So this will select the div tag which is having attribute for and with the value login. Okay, fine. Next is, let's say you wanted to okay, let's see what else. All right, okay, you cannot write star square bracket attribute. Okay, that option is not here. You cannot write this star. Instead, don't write anything. If you just wanted to say that any element which is having id is equal to, id equal to my let's say home, this is having id is equal to products, class equal to link 1. Okay, this element is having class equal to link 2. So let me run it full screen. So let's write an element. Let's write a locator which is matching with some attribute, so without tag name. So let's say I don't care what is the tag name, I just wanted to find the element which is having id is equal to, or maybe let's say for equal to, what is that value, login. So this is also valid syntax. Okay, the syntax is actually directly write attribute equal to value. This is valid syntax. You can also write attribute, this syntax, it means any tag name, any element, any element having attribute. Okay, attribute, so this, that given attribute, whatever it is. Okay, the meaning of this is any tag name which is who's having attribute for, and the value should be exactly equal to login. I hope this is clear, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Next is, okay, there is a special case. Let's say I want to look at an element whose id equal to home. So you can write id equal to home. I don't care what is my tag name. In this case, I haven't specified tag name. That means it is, it will take any tag name. Doesn't matter what is the tag name. So id equal to home is going to select this element, this hyperlink. Okay, but let me tell you one thing. Okay, this is valid. Okay, valid. Select this tag. Fine, but in case of CSS selector, there is a special provision for ID and class. So if you want to say that any element whose ID is equal to this, instead of the above syntax, you can just write, that tag name. Let's say my tag name is a hash ID. What is that ID? Home. So hash means ID. Okay. So any tag name which is having ID as a home. I hope you are able to see this, guys, or do I need to increase the font of this text? Okay, thanks, Will. So all right, so a hash home, hash means ID. Okay, is this is clear? You can directly write hash home. That means any tag name. Okay, a tag having ID as home. This is proper meaning now. Now this means any tag having ID as home. All right. So right, even you can use a combination also, saying that okay, this is the ID and this should be the attribute. Okay, so let's take, I have one example whose ID equal to product and the class equal to link. Okay, let's first locate only class. So you can actually write this class equal to the class name, whatever the class name. Now for example, class equal to link 2. All right, so what it will do is uh, it will actually select any tag which is having class as link. 2. But it is a CSS selector. It is this way is not for CSS. Okay, like the same case for ID. ID has a special provision. Okay, like the same way you can also have a class with special provision. So see, I wanted to locate this element. So we can just simply write a tag which is having class. So class means dot. Okay, hash means ID. Remember, something starting with a hash means ID, something starting with a dot means it is a class name. So a dot, what is the class name? Link to. So select a tag having class as link to. Is this is clear? Optionally, let's say you wanted to if you don't want to specify which tag, it might be any tag which is having a class name as a link to, you can simply write link to dot link to. That means any tag name which is having a class name as link to. Okay, guys, I'm just waiting for your questions. If you have any questions, please post it on Skype. Why we should use CSS and what is the difference between CSS and XPath? Very good question. So guys, I told you, the order, the first preference should be given to ID, second preference should be name, and then third preference you might go with class name or tag name, depending on the uniqueness. Uh, and then if it is a link text, the first preference should be, if it is a link, first preference should go with the link text. And if any one of these is not helping, I personally recommend go with the CSS selector directly before jumping to XPath. CSS selectors are better for web locating, okay, instead of using the XPath. So it has better performance, easy to understand, and widely known to so many people. That is few advantages of using a CSS selector. If there are some limitations of a CSS selector, if CSS selector is not able to help you, in that case you can go with the XPath. But CSS selector are mostly for HTML pages and XPath is for XML kind of structure. It doesn't matter is it HTML or any other XML. XPath is generic. XPath can be applied on mobile automation where they have XML as a hierarchy, not as a HTML for the native applications. Is this clear, Akhilesh? Okay, there is a question from Ashish. If there is I browser in a scope, then what should we go for? Guys, always again I am saying the same thing. The first preference should be ID, name, link text, tag name, class name, and then second preference should be CSS selector, and the third preference should be XPath. XPath should be your last option, irrespective of browser. Okay, any other question, guys? Guys, if you're not understanding anything, please feel free to ask questions, okay? Okay. If any field is hidden, how to identify, Vishal? Vishal, when I say a field is hidden, means what exactly? Is that element is hidden or there is a input type equal to hidden? Which hidden you are talking about? Or the visibility equal to hidden element? Okay, visibility equal to hidden. Very good question. Okay, let me go back to the Firebug. Sorry, Firefox. Where is it? Okay. So see, this is my Firefox, and let's go to Firebug. Okay, as I told you, always go to the HTML tab when you wanted to read HTML, and just try to I will just try to expand something. Can you see this tag, guys? This div tag, it is having display none, visibility equal to hidden. Can you see this? Okay, and it is in gray color. If you have noticed, this is in gray color. Okay, it is like disabled kind of a thing. So all the elements which are having visibility hidden and display none are shown in the gray color. Okay, if you go with the fire path, you may not be able to see that gray color. So I will just expand body, I think. See, you are not able to see as a gray color in fire path, but in HTML you can see the element is in a gray kind of, I mean, it is like a disabled kind of thing. So visibility is hidden and display is none. Still, you can locate this. Okay. But the thing is, if the element is hidden, you won't be able to perform click. You won't be able to perform, typing or something because it is hidden. You cannot do any user action on that element. Remember this. But locating element is no big deal. You can use it like a normal way. For example, in this case, I will just copy this thing, going to fire path. Okay, choosing CSS. Now I just copied ID, right? ID starts with what? ID starts with hash, and just pasting it. See, okay, there is something wrong. CSS. Okay, maybe the dot character is not allowed. I may need to replace the dot with a slash or something like that. Let's take some other example. Maybe I will just say div. Um, you can actually also specify that visibility in CSS selector. I don't recall that, but it is no big deal. It is just a normal way that we locate a element. Okay, see, for example, I will just copy this whole text, okay, as attribute, and so I'm just saying div who's having style is equal to display none and visibility equal to hidden. See, it is giving me one matching element. It doesn't matter whether that element is hidden or not. The way of using CSS selector and XPath is pretty much same. Can we take a real example of a CSS selector? If I use OR, then it will work on skip second condition. Uh, yes. Okay, I will first answer Prashant's question. His question is, if we use OR, that means in XPath, right? It is OR is not available in CSS. So let's go to here and see. This is the OR. So if an element is having ID equal to ID or that class equal to ABC, if any one of the condition is getting satisfied, it will select that element. Okay, for example, if the ID is matching, then it will not go and check whether the class is matching or not. It will just pick up that element. Okay, Suez question, can we take a real example of a CSS selector? Yes, we will definitely take a real example of a CSS. Right now I'm just focusing on teaching CSS selector. In the next few minutes I will start with the program. Okay, I think let's get started. All right, so these are few examples of a CSS selector. There is still more things pending from CSS selector. I would like to cover that first. Okay, this means any element which is having class equal to link. Always remember, guys, hash means ID, dot means class in CSS selector. Okay, fine. Next is, yeah, if I say div space A, okay, that means all A tags which are inside div tag. Okay, similar like slash slash div slash slash e. This is the XPath, similar like XPath slash slash div slash slash e. Matlab any child and any descendants. Okay, another div space greater than sign space a. This means all immediate child a tags of parent div. So this is similar like XPath that we learn is slash slash div slash a. So slash a, single slash a means immediate child, and slash slash means any level of child, not necessary to be a immediate child. The similar way we have in a CSS selector. So div space a, it means all the a tags which are inside a div, and div greater than a means all a tags which are immediate child of a. All right. Uh, I will add one star. There is no provision of selecting element with its text in CSS. Okay. For example, in XPath, we have slash slash any tag name. Text is a access, and we say expected text. So this way, if you want to locate the element with its text which is displayed on a screen, uh, CSS cannot do that. This is a limitation, one of the limitation of CSS selector. Okay. So sometimes in interview question, this is also asked, what are the limitations of CSS selector? And yeah, this is one limitation of CSS selector. Another limitation of CSS selector is you can move forward. Let's take example, let's go here in the page. Okay, let's see. Okay, fine. See, this is first element. Select box sign in. Let me check what is it there in sign in. Okay, expand div. It is that username. Okay, can you see this tag, guys? Okay, I'm just picking up anything. Tell me who's the parent of this div tag. The div tag which is having ID is equal to valid balance. Tell me who is the parent of this div tag. I'm talking about this div tag. Okay, I think in HTML I can better inspect that and select a tag. Okay, I was talking about this tag, this div tag. Who is the parent of this div tag? Very good. So the answer is div id equal to sign in block is the parent of this div tag. Right. Who is the preceding sibling of this div tag? Okay, if you don't know what is preceding sibling, in XPath. Preceding sibling, guys, the way I'm teaching the locator is at very advanced level. Okay, do not get confused, or do not say that I'm not able to understand each and everything what I'm teaching, because I'm teaching CSS selector and XPath as at the advanced level. Okay, but as I know that most of you guys are beginner to a Java, I should have restricted myself, but I should have restricted myself, but I think that should be fine. If you're not able to understand, let's say maybe, let's say you are only able to understand 60% or 80%, this is fine. Do not worry about it, because we won't be making each and everything in automation testing. Okay, so I will tell you what is preceding sibling. Okay, in XPath, let's say I wanted to say that the element div which is having id at the rate id. Okay, before that I should select XPath id. Okay, is equal to, what was that id? I forgot actually. Wallet balance. Oh, what is wrong? WA. Okay, so this is selecting a unique element, right? Now if I say slash preceding sibling, just a single slash, and preceding sibling, which sibling I want, let's say I'm saying preceding sibling I. So it is going to select all the I tags which are, see this is I tag, which are before my this div tag. So this is preceding sibling. Okay, I will just copy this to notepad. Okay, so you can see that I'm selecting first div tag and then I'm saying preceding sibling. Okay, which preceding sibling? Which is having a tag name as ID, as I. You can also specify I with ID name or something, or maybe you will say that star and directly give ID also. That is also fine. I will say I with @ ID equal to I hyphen icon hyphen profile. Guys, this is advanced part, okay? So it, don't expect it will be very easy. Yeah, so see, this is going to select the first element and I'm saying preceding sibling which is matching with this XPath, having tag name as ID and having tag name as I and ID is equal to I icon profile. So this is preceding sibling. Like the same way we have following sibling, it will select all the siblings followed after your element. Where is it? Yeah. So instead of preceding sibling, I will just remove that and I will make it following sibling and I will say colon div. Something is wrong. I think it is typo. Oops. Okay. See, I said following sibling colon div. It means it will select all the following tags of this valid balance which are matching with div tag, which are matching with this CS XPath. So in my case, I have given a div, so it will select all the div tags which are followed by this, and I will just copy that to notepad so I can share this with you. So this is for following. Even you can also apply a filter, like you can actually see that any tag name having attribute ID equal to, what was that? So we can give a value, maybe ABC, that way. So this is also valid. The same thing you can do with CSS selector, but the only limitation is, okay, how to find a preceding siblings. Okay, how to find a preceding sibling? Answer is we cannot find preceding sibling using CSS. Okay, limitation is CSS can only traverse forward. It cannot go in backward direction. Okay, saying that backward, it means like I have one element and I just wanted to go above and find out its preceding sibling or the parent. So you cannot find preceding sibling or parent, okay, using CSS selector. The reason is CSS can only traverse forward, it cannot move backward to your root. So but in CSS selector you can actually find a following sibling. Okay, to find a following sibling, syntax is very easy. I'm just saying div plus div. So this means all the div tags which are followed by some other div tag. So this is like following sibling. You are selecting all div tags which are following sibling of div, and this is also an immediate following sibling. I will show you example instead of talking much. I will go to CSS. I'm just writing div plus div. See, this is a div tag which is followed by this preceding sibling. This is the div tag which is followed by this div tag. Okay, can you see this, guys? See, this div tag do not have a preceding sibling. That is the reason it is not selected. But this div tag has a preceding sibling, so this div tag is selected. Okay, let's move here. Can you see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 tags, but see, this tag is having a preceding sibling as span, not as a div. Okay, so this is not selected. This div is having preceding sibling as a div, so okay, this is selected. This div is having preceding sibling as a div, so it is selected. So basically, when I say div plus div, it means actually select all the div tags which are following sibling of this div tag. Okay, so let's say I know one element, maybe let's say I know this tag. Okay, hash, it is hash, right? So hash means id means hash. Okay, so I'm just selecting that one element, and if I say plus div, see, right now, it was when I say hash toggle button, it is selecting span. Now I said plus means following sibling, and going to which tag, it is a div. So I just said enter. See, it is selecting immediate div, immediate sibling, following sibling. Okay, it is not going to select all the sibling tags. If you want to select all the sibling tags, I think you have to say plus and no. Okay, I think I don't recall that syntax, but plus will only go for next sibling. If you want to skip that, you can say that plus star plus. So it will span. It will skip div and it will jump to this div. Okay, see, span, this div got skipped and next div is selected because I said plus star. Plus star means skip one tag. Guys, I think we should restrict ourselves, to you learn at some point maybe. So this is going to select following sibling, but it is going to skip one sibling and then it will select the next sibling that way. All right, so just I will write a quick description. Of div next sibling, and this is going to second sibling of hash toggle. Okay, nth child is different. Okay, about child, if you remember, guys, we also talked about this, slash slash div and some number, for example, slash slash div, and I'm writing a number, let's say 4. So this will select the fourth div tag, fourth child div tag, fourth child. This will select the fourth child div tag. Okay, the same thing you can do with the CSS selector, like this, div colon slash slash child, sorry, nth child, and then you have to specify 3. Now for example, let's do it practically. I might have done some typo or spell mistake. So let's say div. Okay, if I say div, it is like 211 divs are there. Now I'm saying nth child, let's say 2. That means I'm saying that sorry, my bad. Okay, nth child. Okay, it means that select a div tag which is the second child. Second is the index number. Okay, so you can see that, see, this div tag is the parent, this having first child as a tag, and second child is the div, so it is matching. Another example, let's see, this is also match. So this is parent, this is first child, this is second child. Okay, now here it is, this is the parent, this is first child, this is second child. In this case, I will just go up, minimize it. See, this is the parent tag, this is first child, and this is second child div. So div nth child, There is no hyphen here. This will select second child tag having tag name div. Okay. So guys, there are so many stuff, instead of writing nth child. Okay, and this is very much similar like / div 2. This is similar to XPath div 2. Okay. There are many options also. You can see that first child, last child, it is also there. Maybe I will show you one example. Last child, you don't have to specify any number. I might have done some mistake. Last child, let's Google it. It is hard to remember each and everything. Okay, you don't have to say that brackets, just say last child colon. So see, I will just minimize and will take any one example. Okay, minimize this. See, this is a header. The first child is div and the last child is also div. It is just this is the only tag header is having as a child, so it is getting matched. Inside that there is again one tag, so it is getting matched. Okay, I wanted to show some other example. See, this is a div tag. It is having 3 childs. This is div tag which is having 3 childs. I said what? A div tag which is the last child. So in this 3 tags, div is the last child. So it is matching with tag name div and this is last child. That is the reason it is getting selected. But to be very frank guys, we don't use each and everything from CSS selector. Learning CSS selector and XPath is very vast. It may take like 4 to 5 hours just to learn CSS selector and XPath. But we have a short of time. We already spent one day on learning XPath yesterday. Today also we revised it, and again we have spent our whole day into CSS, learning CSS selector only. So I cannot, due to time restrictions, I won't be able to teach each and every attribute, each and every locator. I may not be able to teach each and every aspect of a Selenium testing, but I will try as much as I can. I might have to extend these batches. Initially we planned to have it only for 5 days, but looks like it may get extended by 1 or 2 days because we still have plenty of topic to cover. And I think guys, CSS selector and XPath is pretty much clear. So I will just share this on Skype so that I will not miss it. All right. Okay, I shared this text on the Skype group so that you can use it for your reference. Now, let's do some automation scripting. So first Selenium program was the project I already added. I'm creating a new project, file new, Java project. Locator's practice name I will give. Okay, you can keep all the default settings. I will say finish. All right, a project is created. Locator's practice. Guys, this is the previously open project, so I'm just closing that. I don't want that project to be open, so it will create a confusion that which this file is belonging from which project. So I will close that project. I have a fresh, new, clean project. So if I want to use Selenium, the very first thing you need to do is add a reference to your Selenium. So I'm going to the Java build path and their libraries, add external jar. Last time we downloaded Selenium 3.4.0 version, so I'm just adding that latest version of Java, Selenium. I said okay. You can see that jar is added here. In the SRC, I will write a class. Class name is Locator's practice demo. And there I need execution entry point, so I'm writing a main method. Okay, so I will need to, the very first thing, I'm using Selenium 3.0. Even though if I'm using a Firefox, I need to write system.setProperties line. I will just copy paste that from old project. So let me take that code ready-made from old project instead of wasting time. I will take, okay, this few lines of code, or maybe just 4 lines. Oops. Okay, so what I did, I have set WebDriver gecko.driver path. Okay, then gecko driver.exe path to that driver where we downloaded that gecko and extracted. Next line is WebDriver driver equal to new Firefox driver that will launch my browser. Technically speaking, this will create object of Firefox driver class, and it will be storing that as a reference to WebDriver interface. Driver.manage.window.maximize, it is going to maximize your browser. We already discussed about method chaining, where we call one method after another method. Third is driver.manager.timeouts. Namit, I saw your question. To add a jar into your project, I already showed that on day 2 session. Please go back and revise that day 2 session. I think the screen is already shared. I'm not sure. The screen is already shared. Can you see this? Can you see, guys? Are you able to see the screen, guys? Please reply. Yes. Okay. There is something wrong with you. MP Gov Day. MPS Gov Day. You can check your internet connection. All right. So driver.manage.timeouts.implicit wait. This is going to set implicit wait timeouts. You know, this we learned in the last session, maybe day before yesterday, I think on day 2 session maybe. And after that, I got some questions on implicit wait. So let me clarify implicit wait. Whenever you have a line driver.findElement, driver.find element, and we pass some locator, right? So locator is, let's say, ID, and the ID is equal to something like username. Okay, so what will happen in this case, I already set an implicit wait for 30 seconds. So if that element is not found on a page, okay, which element? By.id username, not for all elements on a web page, okay, it is for that element which is I have specified in find element. If this element is not present on a page, so Selenium will automatically wait until that element comes up. So for example, I given id dot usernames. So until and unless username is not getting displayed on the screen, my WebDriver script will automatically wait, and the maximum timeout, it will wait for 30 seconds. If username is getting appeared before 30 seconds, then Selenium will continue its execution. It will not wait for that complete 30 seconds. Okay, so this is the advantage of using implicit wait, and it is applicable for all driver.find elements. So let's say if I have driver, oops, my bad, driver.find element by dot, let's say ID, and it is having a password. So implicit wait is automatically applicable to all the driver.find elements line. Okay, I hope this is clear now. So what I will do is, let me open a page. Yesterday somebody shared a link about the sample application, hero group something. Can you please share it again? All right, thanks Prashant. Okay, I will just open that here. Alright, guys, this is just a sample website to try out and learn Selenium. So we can use actually any page from this. Uh, let's take example of a context menu. Okay, so the very first thing I will open this URL because I'm combining 2-3 topics at the same time. One is the locator practice as well as how to perform context click. Context clicks means just simply right click. Okay, nothing much. Okay, who else is having problem with the screen sharing, guys? Let me know if you are not able to see Eclipse. So driver dot find element or driver dot get is the method which we use to open URL. Make sure you are specifying protocol also. Okay. After opening a URL, next is click on context click. Where is that? Context menu. So let's inspect that element. Right click, inspect with a Firebug. Because I need a locator and this is what hyperlink. So as I said, if it is a hyperlink, go with the link text. So my link text is context menu. Let's copy. Sorry, driver dot find element by dot link text, and my link text is context menu. So on this menu, this line will return me the web element. I told you, right? You can copy that web element into some variable object and then call a click, or instead you can simply click. At the end, you can, do a method chaining. So method after another method. So I'm just calling click method after find element method. Find element method will return object of web element. Okay. Web element is also an interface. So find element will return object of a class which is implementing web element. So that on that object I'm calling a click method. Once click is done, okay, let's click on that context menu. Okay, this is the URL getting open. I wanted to print that URL. Let's assume I want to print that URL. So system.out.println driver.get current page URL, get current URL, sorry, current URL. So after printing that URL, next part is how to perform right click. Okay guys, this functionality currently only works with the Firefox. So just do right click. What do you see guys here? I don't see anything after right clicking. This is all normal menu. I think they have, this website is having some issue. I'm already running a Firefox and still it is saying, I don't see anything extra by right clicking, it is just the normal menu, right? Okay, let's take any other example instead of context click or something. Maybe let's go with checkboxes. Okay. Oh, let's click on checkboxes. I will just copy that link text instead of context menu. I will cover up checkboxes first. Okay, I added a checkboxes. Click driver.get current URL. It's going to print that checkbox URL. Next part is, guys, there are two checkboxes you can see. Let me open that. There are two checkboxes, checkbox 1 and checkbox 2. So, I wanted to see that first checkbox is by default unselected and second checkbox is by default selected. Okay. So these are the two things I have to verify. So input type equal to checkbox, input type equal to checkbox. There are two input types with a text box, checkbox. Can you see ID? Can you see name? Can you see class name or any unique things between these two checkboxes apart from the checked equal to? So let's say I wanted to look at the first checkbox, how to do that. Guys, there is a form, I can take help of, as there is no ID, there is no name, there is no, guys, the text you can use, okay, but it is not again inner text. It is not an inner text. Input tag is starting here and closing here. You cannot use this text for locating this input tag. Okay, this text is independent of that input tag. So what I will do is I will take help of this parent. So if you don't have ID, if you don't have name, if you don't have unique class, okay, then you can use the take help of parent or something. So I'm just first locating that element. Guys, as I told you, first option should be CSS, okay, and then go with XPath. So first I'm going with CSS. I'm just writing hash. If you are writing hash, you don't have to give ID equal to, you just have to say direct ID. Alright, so form ID is equal to checkboxes. Okay, now this is matching one node uniquely, but inside that I want input tag. So I said checkbox greater than immediate child input, but this is going to give me multiple input tags, because both are immediate child of form, which I don't want. So I can say that input nth or first child, first hyphen from CSS selector, so this is only going to select the first element. Hash checkboxes, I said input is matching with both the checkboxes, and from that both I want that first child means this is the first child, this is second child, this is third child, that way. So I'm just saying first child, so this is unique. So guys, this is also a skill. Okay, you may be able to do automation, and as I told you yesterday, do not copy paste the ready-made XPath that you are getting. This is another example why learning Locator is very important. So always read HTML by yourself and try to create a locator. Use firepath for testing whether that locator is right or wrong. Is it pointing to unique element? How many elements are getting selected? What is the difference between these two elements, and that way. So do not use the ready-made firepath locator which you are getting into a firepath. So now it is selecting that first checkbox. In automation script, I will get that element. Guys, if you have any questions, please post it on Skype. So element checkbox 1 equal to driver dot find element by dot CSS selector. Guys, I cannot use ID, name, class name, tag name, this thing, because I am using parent and child relation. So if you don't have a uniqueness, then you have to go with CSS selector or XPath mechanism for locating element. These two locators are considered to be advanced locators. There is a question from Ashish. How can we make a selection here dynamic? What does that mean? Selection here dynamic means what exactly? Please ignore. Okay. So I have a element. Okay. This is the first element. And let's locate the second element also. So for second element, the CSS selector I will write is the last child, because it is the last child of that parent. So see, this is the last child. So instead of just first, make it last. All right. Now what I have to do is SYSO is which checkbox? Checkbox 1 is selected. I wanted to check whether that checkbox 1 is selected. So this is my checkbox 1 object. On that one object there is selected method. Okay, like that I will also add few things. Is selected, displayed, and enabled. So is selected, is displayed, is enabled. So I'm just printing few properties of that checkbox. Okay, the same way, instead of that checkbox 1, I will do it for checkbox 2. All right. There is one question from Suyab. Let's take example. If I have to automate one pop-up and on every click it is changing X bar, then how to? Guys, you are trying to mix so many things into one example. I can definitely do that, but looks like you already have Selenium knowledge. Maybe because of that you are asking this question. But if I take this example, I'm sure that most of the people are learning Selenium for first time. They will get confused. So if you need, I can take this discussion offline. So is that okay? Thanks. Let's do it simple because I'm assuming so many people are coming from a back. I mean, those are learning Selenium for the first time. That is the reason. I just wanted to make it simple. Instead of having or adding so many Selenium feature in a one program and making it more complicated to understand. So what I'm doing is I'm just reading the checkbox. I'm getting the checkbox element. Okay, driver.find element by CSS selector. This is the first child. This is second child element. These two are different checkboxes. I'm printing first checkbox is displayed, is selected, is displayed, is enabled. Like the same way for second element. And let's run this code. Okay, let's go to the Eclipse and see what it is. It has printed. Open Eclipse. See. So is checkbox one is okay. First that URL. See that URL is incorrect. Incorrectly printed here because I said click on the checkbox and then print the URL. But before loading this page, before loading the checkboxes page, my URL got printed, and that URL is the home page. It is not the checkboxes. So this is the reason why we need to have wait mechanism. So I'm just adding a wait for 5 seconds. Okay, and driver.get current URL, that is URL I will print then after waiting. Then I'm getting the first element and printing. Is it selected? Is it selected? Is that first checkbox is selected? You can see that to the left hand side. Oops. To the left hand side, it is not selected. It is saying false. It is not selected. Okay. Ashish, what is 5000 now? Element checkbox 1 is displayed. Yes, it is displayed. Is it enabled? Yes, it is enabled. And let's talk about the checkbox 2. The checkbox is selected. Oh yeah, my bad. Actually, it should be 5000. Thanks. So 5000 means 5 seconds. Okay, because thread.slip accepts time in a milliseconds, not in a seconds. But you can always create your own custom method to accept into seconds and multiply by 1000. All right. So second checkbox, is it selected? Yes, it is selected. It is saying true because it is selected. And is it displayed? Yes, it is displayed true. Is enabled? Yes, it is displayed. It is returning true. Only the difference is that checkbox 2 is selected and whereas checkbox 1 is not selected. That's the difference. All right. What I will do is, guys, the program that we learned, okay, so far is only automation. Okay. We are learning uh, Selenium automation. When I say Selenium automation, Selenium, it is a tool which is responsible for, oh sorry, we are learning Selenium automation testing. Okay, so Selenium, it is a tool which is used for automating web browser. But this Selenium automation testing is a combination of two words. When I say first part is Selenium automation, that is dealing with the browser, and second part is testing. That means what is exactly a testing? That means performing step and checking whether it is expected outcome or not. So comparing expected and actual, that is the one part, and automating web browser is one part. So automating web browser, it is done by Selenium, and testing part, it will be done by TestNG tool. Okay, so I'm going to start with the TestNG at the same time also, because we are not only learning automation, we have to learn automation for testing, that is automation testing. Okay, so automation testing is of two-word combination. So automation plus testing, automation will be handled by Selenium, whereas TestNG will be conducted by TestNG tool. So TestNG is basically, it is a testing framework. Okay, and it helps you to do some activities, helps for create test case, it helps to create execute test case, it also helps you to run tests in data set, that is parameterization. It also helps you to create test suite and run test suite. It also helps you to run test cases in a parallel. It also helps you to group your test cases. It also helps you to create test report, that how many pass, how many fail, and that report. It has so many features, guys. Okay, I may not be able to list all of those features, but TestNG actually, at least you have got an idea, right, what TestNG is doing. Whereas Selenium will only, like open browser, close browser, perform, type, click on button, and those kind of things. Those operations will be done. All right, so yeah, dependencies, adding. Then you can also assign priorities. There are many things basically. Okay, you can add a description. Okay, you can run only specified group. Run test from a group. There are so many things. I may not be able to list each and everything here. I will try to cover as much as I can, but I'm not sure that how much I can cover from TestNG. But whatever I will be covering topic will be simple and easy to understand, so don't worry. So, okay, this is my automation script. It is nothing to do with pass fail. Can you see anywhere pass and fail or something? No. So let's convert this automation script into a test case. Okay, how do we do that? Uh, the very first thing, we do not have, okay, in our project you should have a reference to your test engine. So I'm just going to the, not in the first program. I told you, close this program because it is confusing that which program you are working. Going to the build path, see the properties, Java build path, and there we already added one dependency, that is Selenium server standalone, and again I'm adding another dependency, but this is going to be a library. Okay, in Eclipse I already have installed a TestNG plugin for my Eclipse. So there is a plugin for Eclipse which is known as TestNG plugin for Eclipse, and that plugin is already installed my Eclipse. So if it is installed, you can go to add library and there you see TestNG directly. Okay, but you need to have that plugin to be installed in your Eclipse. I can guide you how to install that plugin into your Eclipse. Okay, I will just quickly tell you how to do that. So what you need to do is just go to Eclipse, help. You can install it from marketplace, Eclipse marketplace. Guys, we will stop session within next 3 minutes. Okay, we will take a hard stop at 8:30. Okay, so in marketplace, I'm not sure why this option, okay, it is there now. Just type test ng, not testing, it is test ng. The full form is test next generation. So that is the full form of test ng. Just search test ng. Alright, can you see that test ng for Eclipse? It is already installed. That is why I don't see install button. Like here you can see that, right? So you have to install the testng plugin for your Eclipse. This is the way you will install. After installing, go to the uh, project properties, Java build path, go to library, add library. Okay, I said add library. Then testng will automatically come if you install that. I'm just saying next. I will say finish. See, testng is there. Which version of testng? It is 6.9.10, which is fine. I will say okay. So testng jars are added. Now in my test case, testng test, see, if you have public static void main, it means you have developed a Java application. We are not developing Java application. We are writing a test case. So test case is written in this syntax. @test, anything which starts with @ is known as attribute. Annotation, sorry, it is known as attribute. Annotation in XPath it is known as attribute. In testng or in Java code it is known as annotation. So this annotation is coming from org.testng annotations. There is another annotation coming from JUnit. Do not import that, please import this. So I'm just double clicking. Okay, so you can see that import line is added. Public void test case 1 open bracket close bracket, and this is the ending. Thread.slip may throw exception, so I will add throws. So guys, this is my test case. Okay, @test public void the name of function, that is the name of test case, and throws I have to write because I have used thread.slip. Let's run it. Right click, run as testng test, and we'll see whether it is getting passed or failed. Okay, it will take hardly few seconds, and then we will stop our session. If you have any questions, you can start putting these questions into Skype group. I will answer those after this session. All right, okay, my task is executed. Okay, it will get executed within few seconds. Yes, and that's my report. Can you see that test case is passed? How many total test cases ran is 1, failure is 0, and skip is 0. There you see other tab, result of running class locator practice demo, and it is passed. You can see green. So we just started with the testng. We will continue tomorrow on testng as well as some topics which are remaining from WebDriver like switching frames, windows, and those kind of things. Thank you everyone for attending this session. Hope to see you tomorrow. I will be sharing this video maybe after some days because I need to do some editing, like this part, I'm talking, I will cut that part from this video and will share with you guys. Thank you everyone. Please ask your question on a Skype group. I will answer on the Skype group itself, or if you think, you can ping me in person on my this group on my WhatsApp also. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.